All right, so after I shot this video, I got news that Justin Evans' practice window is officially open. Yes, Justin Evans will be coming back. That's a good death piece, with Kevin Byard, also, of course, Sidney Brown, of course, Reed Blankenship, and now you add that death piece there. So it's good that we getting one of our safeties back. Eagles also released EJ Jenkins and signed Noah Tagai. Remember, he was here last year. And offensive lineman, last name Smith. I'm sorry, I'm not about to mess up his first name. But yeah, the Eagles made moves, small moves, but moves. But it's good to hear Justin Evans is back and this team is getting healthier day by day. This is Eagle Owl, and today I will be talking about Ken Dorsey, who the Buffalo Bills just fired, and why the Eagles should hire him, at least as an assistant or consultant or something. Also, I will talk about D-Jack giving a lot of praise to Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni, but let's get straight into it. All right, so before we get straight into the topics, I gotta say happy belated birthday to Devonte Smith. Man, been a blessing since he came to Philadelphia. We talking about the guy that broke the rookie record for yards. Probably one of the best number one A's that the Eagles ever had, and the tandem of him and AJ Brown. But man, I go back to that draft and like, man, what if Howie didn't make that move with the Cowboys and Smitty would have been a Giant, and maybe Micah Parsons would have been an Eagle, and just that dominant move Howie Roseman made and us having Devonte Smith again has been a blessing for the whole organization. And he's stepping up and being that leader that we need. But man, the Giants just screwed up, man. That's messed up how the Cowboys and the Eagles did the Giants. Not only we traded up with the Cowboys and got Devonte Smith, Giants traded back because I guess they found there was no value staying there, and they end up drafting Kadarius Toney, who they end up trading, and then the Cowboys end up drafting Micah Parsons. So the Giants just got beat up all over that draft. Pause. They definitely did. The Big Brothers, yeah, we punched down on the Giants during that draft. All right, but again, shout out to Devonte Smith. His numbers since he been with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's turning 25 years old. His numbers with the Eagles through 43 games, 201 catches, 2,645 yards, 16 touchdowns. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything better. So again, shout out to Devonte Smith for bringing everything he bring to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, let's get into the topics for the day. Ken Dorsey. Ken Dorsey was fired from the Buffalo Bills. I believe was a huge mistake. I'm sorry, you can't blame Ken Dorsey for Josh Allen regression. I'm sorry, you just can't. Because when you look at the Buffalo Bills offense in general, it's great. It's awesome. But here go the numbers for it. The Bills just fired their offensive coordinator despite being having the third ranked offense and the eighth best scoring unit in the league. They are number 2 on third down and number 3 in the red zone offense. And he's gone. I don't know about the high standard thing, but look, they made a mistake. They made a mistake. And their offense is ranked number 8 is because Josh Allen interceptions and fumbles. I mean, they easily could have been a top 5, top 3, or even number 1 offense, but Josh Allen keep turning the ball over. I'm sorry, that's not on Ken Dorsey. That's not on him. But Buffalo Bills made a mistake. My fear, or not really my fear, I hope he don't go to New York because of the Brian Dayball relationship. But if we come to the Philadelphia Eagles, how we had Vic Fangio as the consultant, you can do that with Ken Dorsey with Brian Johnson. Now, if we have an extraordinary season like last season, more than likely somebody's going to be crazy enough to hire Brian Johnson as their head coach because people like offensive coordinators as their head coach. Then you can have Ken Dorsey step up and take his place. You can do that. I believe we should bring him in as a consultant and just groom him to be the next offensive coordinator. I'm not saying fire Brian Johnson. No, I'm not saying that. Brian Johnson is doing decent. He's getting better and better. But you want to have that next guy up because, again, the same thing is going to happen. If we get to the Super Bowl, lose or win, people are going to pick away from our coaching staff. Have him in. Boom, you got a veteran guy right there ready to step in. I mean, it was the smart thing to do with Vic Fangio until Jonathan Gannon did Jonathan Gannon things. Bring this dude in. I'm telling you, he's been a big part of why Buffalo Bills offense is so scary. Now, Buffalo Bills got in their feelings and fired them because you can't just let go of a guy you paying $100+ million to and Josh Allen. So somebody got to be the downfall guy. Hell, you're not just gonna cut loose Stephon Diggs. They probably gonna trade him. He's probably gonna request a trade, but you can't just let him go. So somebody got to be the downfall man, and I think they picked the wrong guy, in my opinion. But bring in Ken Dorsey, Philadelphia Eagle, his veteran experience with Brian Johnson is a formula to win. Please, Howie, this will be bigger than getting Kevin Byard if we bring this in. Because if we could get Brian Johnson's situational football better with a Ken Dorsey in his ear, I'm telling you, it's a formula because he got the pieces. He got the young talent in Jalen Hurts. We more talented than Buffalo overall. You bring his mindset in to the Philadelphia Eagles, formula for success, man. You gotta bring this dude in. Got to. All right, so let's talk about my guy D Jack. So D Jack, decided to get on Twitter, talk about the Eagles a little bit, and he had to get big ups to Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. And this is what D Jack had to say. I think what the Eagles have done since Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts been in Philadelphia together is special. Gotta give them credit and respect. Best record in the NFL over the past 2 years. They balling. Keep going. Bring another Super Bowl to Philly. I feel him on that. So I had to do a little research and I ran into this. Per the Eagles game notes, including the playoffs, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts had teamed up for a 32-11 record per Ellis Sports. That record is tied for the fifth most wins by a head coach QB tandem in their first 43 games together since the 1970s merger. So that lets you know Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts is on the same page as winning, and they bringing that winning culture to Philadelphia. And I just talked about Devonte Smith coming from Alabama, bringing that winning culture. Hell, Jalen Hurts coming from Alabama, bringing that winning culture. All these guys coming from these big schools in general, bringing that winning culture. Nick Sirianni, it's all about winning. We know Howie Roseman, it's all about winning. Jalen Hurts is all about winning. And I love this tandem. Not only that, Jalen Hurts on the NFC East. Y'all keep thinking it's Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts on the NFC East. He's 7-1 since 2022. The NFC East, you got to go through Philly. None of that Dak Prescott dealing with who we had. Gardner Minshew's downside of Carson Wentz and Washington, whatever quarterback they had at the time, and the Giants, whatever they going through. The division ain't as easy no more because we stacked up, and now the division is running through Philadelphia. And I believe this is the year where we break that cycle of, this team, that team, this team, that team won the NFC East. Nah, it might be a repeat this time. We might got to repeat it again because the last team to repeat winning the NFC East was the Philadelphia Eagles. And we might do it again because we run the NFC East. And we've been putting on the show for the NFC in general. So I agree with D-Jack, man. They bring in a totally, I guess you can say, different culture to Philadelphia. And I personally love it. I personally love it because it's been rough since 2017. 2018, that was somewhat of a good year. You know, we could have made it far. No telling how far we could have made it if Alshon Jeffrey catch that pass against the Saints. 2019, you know, showed promise. 2020 was just a disaster. 2021, we didn't have any high hopes. Then Nick Sirianni with the questionable press conference. But then that season, you know, had a winning record, went to the playoffs. He's like, it's some promise there, but let's see what we do on the off season. Get AJ Brown. We go to the Super Bowl. Fortunately, we lose, and now we at where we at now. 8-1 team on our way there. So yes, it's been a winning culture since Nick Sirianni brought himself in the building with the flowers everywhere and the nervous press conference. Now he seemed cool, calm, and relaxed. And Jalen Hurts, the city love him, went from hating him to loving him. And let's get it, man. Let's get it. Like DJ said, let's bring another one home. But hey, man, what do you think and how do you feel about the news today? Devonte Smith, we got to wish him happy belated birthday as I'm shooting this on his birthday, actually. But today, you guys will see the video. So happy belated birthday. Ken Dorsey, am I off on something on there? Should we bring him in or am I tripping? Just stick with Brian Johnson. Let him do what he do. I say no. He definitely need a consultant. And lastly, Deshaun Jackson. Eagles need to bring another one home. But this is Eagle Al, man. I'm up.